Welcome to Cosplayers Paradigm, a podcast about everything cosplay related, from the conventions that you love to the people that you love even more. And now, let's get on to the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Cosplayers Paradigm. Today we have a full set of guests right here from everywhere from Kogan Con to really cool Common Con and elsewhere. So to my right, we have Alyssa with Papa Emeritus, if I said that right. Below, we have Mars Rover and kitty corner down here, Dragon Stage Cosplay. Everyone,
Thank you
say
very
hi.
much.
Hello.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
So how's everyone doing tonight?
Pretty good. It's been a mostly busy day, but it's nice to wind down and have some food and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely understand that. Right now, a little bit of relaxation with some great guests, great people, and good conversation. So let's go ahead and start things off a little bit. And let's start. We'll go ahead and do count clockwise. How's that sound? So, Alyssa, what got you into cosplay? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. So my name's Alyssa. I am on Instagram as Squirrel625, and I've been sewing for probably 15 years and doing cosplay for, probably 11 or 12 at this point. And so in high school, I had, so a few things happened all at the same time. I was cleaning up and I found some old clothing of my mom's, and it just happened to be a long t-shirt dress, which I was playing Legend of Zelda at the time, so a few snips with the scissors later and I had Link's tunic. And then for Halloween that year I wanted to be Anakin Skywalker, and I was just unimpressed with what I saw at the store, so made my own, borrowed the sewing machine, learned that showing shoulders are the worst, and then decided that even with all of this, it was fun and just kept on going. It's been my stress relief all through college. My day job, I'm a programmer, so it's nice to have something where I'm not just always looking at screens.
Understand that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dan.
So, my name is Dan, and I started cosplay back in 2009. Went to 2 conventions. I got invited to a big one in Pittsburgh. Then did that convention for 2009, 2010. But I had a long gap between 2010 and 2017 because, no money. And I got back into cosplay again 2017, and I've been cosplaying since, and my main specialty is closet cosplay. So, or I mainly buy my costumes, but I'm working on getting my own sewing machine right now to start making my own stuff.
Awesome.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Jesse, and my partner is Zen.
Hello, they, them pronouns.
Yeah. So my socials, I go by Mars Rover, and then 2 capital I's, to be like a Roman 2. I go by that on like the Twitter, on YouTube, on Patreon, and on Discord and all that. But yeah, I like to do like cosplay and sometimes some digital art and other arts and crafts projects. And where I got started with cosplay, I'm trying to think as like where the line is between like what's a cosplay and what's just like regular costuming. Because I remember being really little, and I had this one story where my parents didn't have a costume for me as like a small baby, and they would just like hollow out a stuffed bear animal and just like fit me inside.
That's brilliant.
Right? But like when I started doing it myself, I think it was like around 8 or so. Like I wanted to be like some Star Wars characters and Harry Potter at the time, and I would just like make my own little robe, and I would draw the little lightning bolt on my forehead in pen. But yeah, there was some point where I started getting other skills like drawing and like cutting and sewing and stuff. And I started working on my own things. Like the one that people probably know me most for right now is the Shy Gal cosplay at Kogan Con, where we pretty much did all the sewing for the hood and whatnot. And it's been a lot of fun. I love going out in costumes and just like being a fun persona for people, and like going to meet new people and hang out that way. I think it's really good for socializing and also for just like letting out your creativity.
I can definitely concur with that.
Mm-hmm.
I got into cosplays and Comic Cons somewhere in the 2010s, 20-teens. I was young and my mom started taking me to them, and nowhere else in the whole world felt more like home to me than Comic Cons. I think it was the year after my first one that I started cosplaying. I believe my first one was a Homestuck character. I believe I was one of the trolls, maybe a Terezi.
Mm.
But ever since then, I've been going to cons almost every year, especially ShudoCon when it was open. That was my first one. I started branching out more when we moved into Indiana. I've been to a lot of those big cons down there. And my most recent ones I've been to are KogaCon. And I started going there because I met my partner here, a Mars Rover.
Oh.
Which definitely was a huge surprise. This year has been the first. Well, this year has been the first year that I've been able to go to multiple cons. My first actual con was the Grand Rapids Comic Con, and of course, it'll always hold a place in my heart, and I'll go every year. But I've been able to go to 5 different cons, and Kogan was one of them, where I got to see a lot of great cosplays, meet a lot of great people. But the cosplay contest kind of shocked the entire con, if you will. And I have a couple of pictures for that.
Heck yeah.
So, starting off here, a couple of nice pictures that were taken there at the Comic-Con of the Shy Gals. But what was interesting was this.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Now, I don't know if you heard, but literally when this was happening, the judges, Pink Opal and Pink Petal Cosplay, were literally going, wait a minute, is this real? Is this fake? No, my God, this is actually happening. Everyone. And it was just absolutely amazing. You know, I mean, who would have thought? And I have to give you kudos for that. That was just brilliant.
It was. Thank you so much for proposing to me.
Hey. Now, here's a fun fact. I wasn't actually the first one to do a proposal during our date there that day.
Really?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, no. Earlier in that day, they had an activity where, you know how you would write, in Japanese tradition, you write wishes on paper slips and hang them up on lines and such by shrines.
I did see about that panel.
Yeah. So we were doing a little activity over there, and we were like writing wishes down, hanging them up together. And the one I wrote was like, I hope that My partner has a very special day today, hinting at a thing that I was going to do later on, which you may already know about. But then the one I see on theirs is like, I wish my beloved would marry me. And I turn around and see them knelt down.
Ah.
So we
Well, you know
both had.
what? Oh no, you're fine.
I was gonna say we both had surprises for each other on that day.
Mhm.
Well, I definitely have to say so. I mean, I was in the audience and literally watching everyone. The reaction of Olsen getting to the edge of their seat, starting to sit up, like, no, am I really witnessing this? But yeah,
Yeah.
no, congratulations. I said it before. I will still say it again.
Thank you.
Thank you. My favorite part was like when we were doing our little skit up there posing for the photos and whatnot. It was just like at first Zen not quite noticing that I had knelt down and was still walking off the stage. And it wasn't until people were starting to react to that they turned around.
I listen. That was my fight or flight. Out the whole time on stage, I was like, I gotta get on there and then go.
And it was so adorable.
It absolutely worked. Perfect. Now, Alyssa, I have a question for you.
Sure.
The Papa Emeritus that you've been doing, what actually got you to decide to do this one? Because I have to say, I had to do a little bit of research and, finding out this was a Swedish band and Ghost, which I love because I've always gone by the nickname Ghost. So I should have seen this somewhere along the lines, but how did this come about?
Okay, I'm sure you're real shocked by this statement. I'm a metalhead. Been listening to metal my entire life. And so I had TikTok for all of like 8 months. And at one point, it was close to Halloween. I kept seeing TikToks of the band Ghost. And like I knew their song Square Hammer. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. So then I saw these TikToks, realized that for each album, there's different characters and the lead singer, Tobias Forge, had almost different personas to go with each of these characters. And Papa Emeritus III, there's just something about it, like, oh my god, I am about to be the funniest person that I know. And so I just started working on this costume, dragged some of my friends down this rabbit hole with me. So and for one Comic-Con, my husband is the Nameless School at Really Cool Comic-Con, one of my best friends who helped encourage me by sending me memes about the band was my Nameless School. So yeah, it was just it felt right. That's how most of my how I pick my characters go.
That works. And the irony is that after looking up a little bit about that, you mentioned you went to the Motor City Nightmares.
I did.
I was there.
You were?
Yes. I was Ash Williams from Evil Dead. And I had the chainsaw around my arm.
That was you?
Yep.
That was
me.
great.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a great weekend. And to this day, I still don't know how it happened, but I got free food, a free painting. I got a free magnet of the Necronomicon from the movie. One of the celebrities, we kind of hit it off, and she gave me her donut, which, mind you, about that big. This is my head.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Nice.
yeah, and let me tell you what, it was a cinnamon roll with glaze over top, but not your typical glaze like a cinnamon roll has. This is more like the glaze on a regular, donut. I couldn't finish it. I took so many bites that would normally finish 3 or 4 donuts, and I was still not even halfway done. This thing was huge. So, Lisa Rose, awesome. Thank you for that, because holy crap, that was amazing. So, Dan, tell us a little bit about how you got into the idea of doing the cosplays you have. I mean, we've seen Castiel, we've seen Star Wars. I mean, what's your go-to?
It depends on the weather mainly. But I
Okay.
started watching Supernatural because of Castiel, so I wanted to do the cosplay. And always been a Star Wars fan, so I'm actually working on a brand new character right now.
Ooh, okay.
So his name is Darth Midas, and it's spelled Myedas. I wanted to go with the actual Midas, no gold,
Okay.
but I wanted to kind of spell it differently. Like kind of like how Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, and they
Yeah.
have the Star Wars Shaggy, but it's Shaggy.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Just a second.
Oh, you got something for us, don't you? Ooh,
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm
So-
loving this.
That's gorgeous.
So
Mhm.
this is the inspiration for the character.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can do this real fast. Nope.
Yep. All right. Okay.
That is sick.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I would love to be able to do is go to a con as a Star Wars character. But you'd be surprised for a person who's a fan. I still have not done it yet.
And I just got 2 new ones. Not
Oh,
really shown in the picture. Let's see.
very slick, streamlined, very nice. Are those combat ready as well?
Yes.
Okay, you need to just bring that to one of the Comic Cons. When you see me, go, hey, toss one at me right there. You know, because all right, it's on.
So
That would-
not the character I just did was Balin Skull from the Ahsoka series.
Okay.
See if I can find his.
I love this. We have props. I like that. Oh,
This is
that
his actual lightsaber.
I'm in awe. I am.
Yeah, I have 6 lightsabers right next to me.
I don't know if anyone else here is a Star Wars fan, but you know what? I'm jealous. I don't even have one. This is how many I own. Oh,
I got like a couple, but they're not like anything fancy, just like dollar store sabers.
Same here.
I definitely know how that goes. But now that I know someone who 3D prints, I'm thinking about having him do something special for me.
Mm.
Yeah, you've of course seen the newer movies of the Star Wars. You know, when I say newer, I'm talking about 9, 10, and 11. I'm sorry, 10, 11, and 12. My bad. Yeah, when it comes down to it right there, I can actually go ahead and use a chain whip and whip it around. So when I saw that, the guards in the red armor fighting Kylo Ren and Rey, and here's one literally using one and it breaks apart like Ivy's snake sword from Soul Calibur. It's like, I want that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I'd end up training to learn how to do it because if it ever came to, fruition, I want to be able to do that on stage.
That would be cool.
Yes, believe me. I have the practice to go ahead and actually remember every time right there, hitting myself.
So,
But, go ahead.
one thing I forgot to mention in the first part, my Dragon's Age cosplay, I'm on mainly Facebook and Instagram, but I do have X. TikTok, and I put it on a different other forums.
Very nice. Now, of course, between both of you right here, Alyssa and Dragon Sage Cosplay, we do have some photos of you guys as well. So walk us through this a little bit, Alyssa.
Sure. Okay. So, all the costumes where I'm Papa Emeritus were taken at either Motor City Comic Con or a really cool Comic Con in Flint. The one that just flashed was a Neo and Trinity costume, where I had made the Trinity costume 5 years ago, and fun fact, the costume designer for The Matrix wanted Trinity to look like an oil slick on camera. So I found special PVC fabric that has a rainbow shine instead of just a normal reflection. And I think that really just added to how cool it is in person. But that photo, I was at DEF CON, a hacking and cybersecurity convention, because you can't stick me in a hacking convention and expect me to not pull out the Trinity costume. And yeah, my husband and I actually got married by Elvis that day, dressed as Neo and Trinity. So Elvis is in costume, we're in costume. And then we went to the convention dressed as normal people, and then went to an after party in those outfits. And the sash says "Just Married" in Base 64, because we're complete nerds.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is there really
learn
so
the
much
hard way.
complete, you know?
Sorry.
Is there such thing as really a complete nerd rather than just an enjoyable, individual?
You can be both at the same time.
Now, of course, Dragon Sage has got, well, let's put it this way. He decided to go ahead and send me a nice list of pictures, and it was hard to choose and bring it down. But here we go.
So there's my Balin skulls. I've been to different conventions like Very Cool, Yumacon, Almacon, and a bunch of other conventions, and I've gotten into going to different events with my buddy Paul, who you just saw, and just been doing different events and all that. And last year, 2023, I made a personal best. I went to 13 different conventions in 1 year.
Man. See, doing that would be absolutely nice one of these days. But you know what? I'll take it for 5 right now, with the 6th one being in November, which I will be attending. I've already got my ticket. Definitely going to be there. So let's see. From when you guys started cosplaying back then to how it is now, have you noticed a difference between how it is? Let's go ahead and start with Mars Rover, Jesse, and Zen this time.
Trying to really think. Like, I wouldn't say that the culture of cosplaying has changed too much for us personally. Like, only thing really different is just like how I've gone about it, because I've learned more techniques of how to do things over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like before, it started out with just like finding the right pieces of clothing to match together that could look something like a character, and then from there it would grow to like maybe cutting parts off of a piece of clothing, or like finding a way to sew a part on or like find a certain accessory that looks closer, or maybe even painting something. Yeah, just like a whole bunch of different things that I've accumulated over just like practicing and failing at a lot of outfits and then trying again. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. Dragon's Age.
I've noticed a big change from when I started. I started back in 2009 and noticed that it wasn't much to really start off with. Wasn't really much, no. It was more hush hush, don't tell anyone. And now
Okay.
that I see like cosplay has just bloomed from when I started. And now I see commercials with cosplayers and all that. So I see a big difference from when I started, for sure.
Gotcha. And Alyssa?
So, starting as a just a teenager wanting a Halloween costume and going to Comic-Con, like I don't remember seeing like any real like competitions. It was probably there and I just wasn't looking for it. But I've definitely noticed like over time the amount of people in costumes at conventions has gone up. The complexity has gone up. And even the pre-made costumes are more readily available. And honestly, that's exciting. Anything that can get more people interested in trying it out, seeing if it's something like that, because it only takes hey, I'm gonna try it. Ooh, maybe I like this. Maybe now I'm gonna learn a new skill, and then you just happen to just create something new.
Very true. I mean, I'm still relatively new when coming to cosplay and going to the cons. My first one was in 2017. And I didn't actually cosplay until the year after, and my first cosplay ever was Castiel. But over now, I go to a con and it just feels different. I mean, it's only a short period of time, but after going, it was more I was there having fun, but not really noticed, not really anything, just I'm there. To now when I go to a place, people actually recognize me, and I get even some vendors that go, "Hey, Jerry," and it's like, oh, "Hi, my family away from home, I'm back." It's a good feeling. There was actually a particular cosplayer who pointed that out, that apparently I smile more and happiest when I'm at the cons, and I didn't realize that, but I'll take it. Now, does anyone here have any dream cosplays that they really want to do, but are probably, I wouldn't say out of reach, but probably not going to be for a little while? Let's go ahead and start with Dragon Sage this time.
But there's one Star Wars costume that I want to do, and see if I can pull her up real fast. It's more or less just trying to figure out the character itself.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, there it is. So, don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I recognize that stance.
Yeah, I don't know the character name, but it's called, I just typed in Gray Jedi, and that's like one of the first searches, so I have to figure out like more about the character than before I can actually start making it.
Well, for what I've went ahead and seen online, because I had a few people bring that up to me quite a while ago. According to what they found out, the Gray Jedi is kind of a cross between both a Jedi and a Sith. Kind of like how we ourselves look at things between a black and white, there's a gray area. Nothing's ever cut and dry. So it's kind of utilized a little bit between the Jedi lore, Assassin's Creed, and a few other fandoms like that. But with an Assassin's Creed style hood, the setup very similar to, as you can see, a Jedi's robe, lighter colors with a little bit of dark, and of course one of each saber. But honestly, I'd say it's more open to interpretation of how you'd like to do it, rather than how anyone else would like to.
Well, the issue is more or less seeing if that's an actual character or if it's a fan-made character.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, Alyssa, how about you? What kind of
So,
dream cosplay?
so multiple people have told me that under the face paint, I have a passing resemblance to Winona Ryder. So I think,
Okay.
and I've never made a corset before, and I've always wanted to do a big elaborate ball gown. So in 90s Dracula with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves, I want to try making one of her green dresses. What, and this is going to be a little bit longer project because we joke that I'm using my day job powers for evil. I'm trying to restore a 90s sewing machine. It's a embroidery machine, and it actually uses floppy disks to transfer the pattern over. So I have a lot of work to do to bring it back up into working order, but it would just be the funniest thing to, resurrect the sewing machine and then make this costume.
That would be absolutely great. I can just imagine going to the costume contest, and when they ask you, so when making this, how did you do this? I used floppy disks. And watching their faces just go,
Yeah, I'm trying so hard to not get distracted, and because I definitely want to try putting Doom on the sewing machine, but I want to use it as its intended purpose first.
Yes.
So it's
Uh,
this is my problem. I get too many side projects, and next thing you know, I'm tinkering on a car. So
mhm. No, that's impressive.
happens to all of us.
yes, yes, it does. Yep. All right. How about you two down below here? Would Zen like to go first this time?
Sure. I've always really loved Zelda since I was a kid, like from somewhere like 8 and up. It's been one of my favorite games, so I've always been thinking about cosplaying as Link. It's just something I haven't gotten around to.
Mhm.
Okay.
And for me, honestly, I hard to say if it's like an ultimate dream or anything, but like I really want to get into learning better foam crafting and like armor making.
Okay.
I've practiced with it a little bit. A few years ago, I made like a Samus helmet from Metroid, but it was a little like rudimentary in parts, and I feel like I could have been cleaner about it. And one big thing I really like to do is either like a full suit for Samus or like make a clone trooper from Star Wars, like one of those more elaborate ones that you would see in like the Clone Wars and whatnot. I think those would be like some really cool long-term projects to shoot for. And I think it would be really interesting and grow my learn set a good bit.
Definitely. I mean, I love the idea of that. But if you're curious about the foam work, one of the guests that I had on season 1, nice friend, is BB Alkide. And you can find her on Facebook, X, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. She's, been on there with Night Mage, Andy Serpenti, Papa Bear, Sweets for Sweets, all of them. But if you've seen her armor, that's all foam, and she does it in a short time. She's extremely good with it. So I'd almost guarantee she'd give you some great tutorials on that, and if you have questions how to do it.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
And I also have a friend who does 3D printing Star Wars armor as well. So of course, if you decide that you'd want to go that route mixed in with foam, a combination, and do pieces instead, I could always hook you up with that person. So then you can just get some pieces from him while making the rest for yourself.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
No, not a problem. One of the biggest things about going to cons is networking, making friends, right? We're all here to help each other and not put each other down.
Correct.
It does not matter. Duct tape, cardboard, 3D print, metal itself, foam cast, anything. if it's a character, someone sees you and they recognize who you are and you're happy with it, it's cosplay. It's happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, here's a fun one for you guys. How do you budget your cosplays and the cons? I mean, do you have a specific budget? Let's say you don't make a costume over $50 or anything like that. Let's go ahead and start with Alyssa, and we'll go at the clockwise again.
So that's kind of a hard question. It really depends on. So I pick a character, and in this case, I'll use Papa Emeritus because that's my most recent costume, and that was expensive. So so knowing that the base cost of the materials is going to be way higher than my normal costumes, I try to use as much of my closet as possible. But for this costume, I couldn't. So it was completely new materials for all of it, except for I did have some fabric that I was able to recycle. So most of my time was spent actually researching, okay, where do I get the best prices for fabric? How much am I going to need to get the tooling for this? Can I buy something like the iron-on, the center of the Popat is an iron-on patch, like for a battle jacket. So that was less expensive than buying a Cricut, layering a bunch of layers of vinyl, and then getting mad at it and having to remake it 3 times because vinyl does not act how I want it to. And then for the cons, at the beginning of the year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to this con and this con, look up the ticket prices, and then just start setting that aside throughout the year.
Okay, definitely a smart way to go, but that cosplay was amazing, so I can see how it could have been very expensive.
Yeah, the brocade for the base part, so the blanket part's called the chasuble. The brocade is from a actual like priest robe making supply website of all places. So that
Okay.
was a little more expensive than like a normal brocade you could get at like a Joann Fabrics, but I wanted that specific pattern that I saw in the reference photos. So that's probably the biggest thing. You do have to balance between, do I want to be accurate to the character, especially if they're a real life character, or is this something where maybe I find something I like better? Can I substitute that instead? Is there a less expensive option that still gives the same energy as your character? You have a lot of flexibility when you're designing that. Don't get so caught up in wanting to be screen accurate that you end up going way over budget.
Not to mention discouraging yourself from even continuing.
Exactly. Like there's some of the fabrics I saw that I got distracted looking up like just other materials, and I'm like, that's too expensive. I would be scared to use that.
No, I definitely understand that. All right, Dragon's Age.
So it's kind of hard for me to display my budget. So I don't, most of the time when I go to Comic Cons, I try to figure out who I want autograph from and who I can kind of pass on. In terms of my costumes, I think the most expensive one was the Balin skull because I bought that complete. And I think the cheapest one I have is actually my Castiel because I actually took like part of my normal suit. I bought a white button-down shirt from Walmart, the blue type from Walmart, and I was lucky to find the trench coat at a Goodwill for like $5.
I definitely know how that goes. The
So,
only thing I had to wear in my Castiel was the pants.
So that one is my cheapest. And I do have my Ravenclaw, which I keep adding stuff onto it, so that one is still pretty cheap.
Very cool. All right. Jesse and Zen.
It's hard to say we have a budget.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really go out of our way to like set up this is how much money we'll spend during the project. Like usually we end up making economic choices, I would say, overall.
Yeah. We choose like when we have money to get piece by piece what we need.
Yeah. Like for my Shy Gal cosplay when I first made it years ago, I had bought all the material and all the sewing stuff to like hand sew the hoodie together myself, but like the belts were all like through searching various Goodwills for like a proper ones that had the proper colors, like the brown and the gold, and like a proper shape that would fit it thematically. And like some cheap boots from like Myers. And I think that trend continues even to now, where we have a cosplay we're working on right now for something. Do we want to talk about that?
We can definitely talk about that. We should hype that up.
Yeah. Yeah, like the current one we have is gonna be based on the Minecraft Warden. We basically got a whole bunch of cardboard boxes from my day job for free that I just got to take home. I already had like scissors and masking tape, and like pretty much all we really had to invest in was like a couple acrylic paint colors and like a little bit more tape. But like overall the process has been going pretty nicely. Just like shaping everything, cutting it into form, like drawing out lines in order before like starting the paint so that everything's properly placed. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And honestly, it hasn't really cost us very much.
That's good. Well, that sounds awesome. So here's a fun one for you guys. Between all the cosplays you've done, different cons that you've gone to, have you ever been mistaken for someone that was not who you were cosplaying? Give an example. I'm dressed as Ash, Evil Dead, blue shirt, boomstick, chainsaw. And someone yelled, "Oh, it's a chainsaw man."
Yeah.
When her husband literally had to turn around, yell at her, go, "No, that's Ash." So let's go ahead and start kitty corner right here. Dragon's Age.
Easy. Castiel. It's either John Constantine or the 10th Doctor.
Okay, yeah, I've not had the 10th Doctor. I had James Gordon and I've had Constantine. But that's a good one, yeah. How about you, Alyssa?
All right, I got a few. Buckle up. So
Okay.
for the Papa Emeritus costume, I've gotten Kiss, which I mean, close enough. It's like the same thing. It's all metal. I have a Geralt of Rivia, but the Witcher version, or Witcher Netflix version. So sometimes I'll get, oh my god, female Geralt, which that doesn't bother me as much as, oh my god, Ciri, which Ciri's, one sword. But I mean, they got the blonde hair part, so again, doesn't bother me. It's just close enough. Thumbs up, take the picture, move on. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where like we have a list of like when I go out, people who recognize me versus what people think I am, and just some of these just get absolutely like way off base, and it's very funny. I've learned about quite a bit of new media I haven't watched before, just based on some of these interactions.
I can definitely understand that. I actually made the mistake with someone, loved their cosplay, wanted to get a picture, but when they asked, "Do you know who I am?" and it was like, I do not. Please tell me, because I'm intrigued. Because of what they told me, I literally end up watching the entire anime. So, thank you for, Miss Forger. I had never seen Spy Family, so I had no clue that's what she was cosplaying.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
After
it's simplistic, so at the same time, it's easier to understand how it could be something else.
But yeah, as I've gotten more experience being in costume in public, I've gotten better at just learning how to roll with it, and like definitely taking the awkwardness level way down. It just takes practice, like with anything else.
Very true. All right, how about you two down here?
I'm honestly really trying to rack my brain as to any instances where that could have happened. Most of the time, I'm usually like a pretty distinct character, where it's like a Samus helmet. You could look at the red helmet and the like green visor and tell like where that's from. Usually, like Shy Gal, I would say like a lot of people don't necessarily know the character right off the bat, but they never really confuse it for another person. They just ask me who it was, and I would tell them. Like the closest instance I can come up with is like I've tried making some ninja costumes back in the past with like black t-shirts that I thought looked really cool, but like I would have like random neighbors just like confuse it for a certain other thing and then immediately tell me to take it off, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. Now, if you ever want to go ahead and find an interesting way to make a ninja mask, that is no sewing it required at all. I can definitely tell you how to do that. And if you go around the corner, you can easily take it off and they can't even tell what it is because it could easily turn into anything else.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
A piece of fabric, 1 yard by 1 yard, completely square. Fold it at an angle so it's actually making the triangle. Okay. Then you go ahead and slip your head through the side, and then the part on the top that's folded, put that over your eyes, tie, and then take what's left and put it down your shirt. But as soon as you're done, once you pop that and it opens up, you can put it over your shoulders. Oh, there's a shawl. You can go ahead and wrap it around something else. Oh, that's just wrapped, like a carry-on. If you have something like a backpack, toss that in there. Quick folds, put it over your shoulder. No, there's a knapsack.
Quick disguises.
Very much so. Works great at cons, but definitely better in high school. Now we are coming close to the end of this, episode today. Got a couple different questions, last ones for you guys. The first one of the last two is, what is cosplay to you? Let's go ahead and start down below with Mars Rover, Jesse, and Zen.
Oh, okay. So I would say, it's a number of things. It's both a creative outlet for yourself, a way that you can like find a hobby, deal with stress, find an escape from like your everyday life in a way. Or it could also be like a career, something you could use to grow your own status in life, make some money, maybe profit off of it. It could be a social thing. It could be a great way to make friends and learn about new people. It could be a new way of like increasing your knowledge about things, like learning new techniques on how to make things. I just think there's so much about it that is good for everyday life, and I'm so happy that people like everywhere are growing more and more to like appreciate it as an art form.
To me,
Well said.
To me, cosplay is very much an escape. I love pretending to be my favorite, coolest characters. One example is Loop from the Adventure Zone, and she's just like a badass pyromancer. Can I swear on the show? I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You are fine.
Just had to make sure. She's amazing. She was one, if not my first cosplays. It was like all stuff from Goodwill, but I felt amazing, and I live for that feeling.
Nice. Dragon Sage?
So I would have to agree it's like an escape for me. And I love cosplaying the characters. The first time I did my Castiel at Yumacon in 2017, I had 8 different people ask for my picture, which was extreme confidence boost right there. So it is kind of an escape for me. It's kind of fun to dress up as other characters and just hang out with like-minded people.
Definitely. Alyssa?
I have to agree with everything that's been said. It's an art form. It can be a career. It's life-changing, stress relief. But I also like to have it. It's a challenge. Like, okay, here, let's see if we can learn something new. Let's see if we can recycle this giant box of all my fabric scraps that's been sitting here. Can I start slowly swapping out my daily wardrobe so it just happens to be convenient base pieces for these costumes? So it's really whatever you want to do with it. You can probably, you can do it. There's no real rules for costuming either. And it's also, we joke that I was too shy to be a theater kid, and definitely go on stage and just absolute stage fright. So it's if you go to actually be part of the character, you can just it's like trying it out. Let's be this persona for the few minutes it takes to interact with someone and take a picture, and then see if maybe it is something you would like to pursue one day. For example.
So true. At the Really Cool Comic-Con, I found it quite interesting that I had someone come up to me and ask, "Hey, can I get a picture taken with you?" And they were 3 of them dressed up as My Hero characters from My Hero Academia. It's like, oh, okay, but don't you want their picture too? And I was standing next to the 2 professional cosplayers that were part of the costume contest, and they just literally look over like, yeah, them too. Talk about a confidence booster. Here's a regular guy who got actually asked over them. I'll take it. And of course, the 2 if you've been to the Really Cool Comic-Con, but that was actually Deku and Present Mike. Pink Opal and Pink Petal cosplay. Which those 2 are amazing in their own right, hands down.
Yeah, there's so much talent at Really Cool Comic-Con. I learned so much just by talking to all the other contestants and attendees.
Definitely. It was actually a great experience. I got to work it. So I got to go for free and made some great, connections there. They want me to come back is what they said. So I'm going to say, yes, I will gladly do so. Now for the last question for everyone right here. What would you give for advice to anyone out there looking to cosplay, whether they're a beginner, professional, or just intrigued? We'll go ahead and start with Alyssa and then go around again.
My advice, it's anarchy. There are no real rules. Don't let anyone make you feel bad. Oh, it's just Goodwill. No, you took the time to go digging through bins to find the perfect piece. Maybe you took the scissors to your old clothes. Maybe you found something online and repainted it. You did something. Be proud. Don't get caught up in this person's been professional for 20 years and this is their day job. Everyone has to start somewhere. And also with Anarchy, if it exists, you can use it as a prop, or you can recycle it for fabric. Some of my costumes have literally been, I found my mom's old green dress in the closet, and now it's Link's tunic. Or the prop I had at Really Cool Comic Con, that's a thurible. It's incense burner used in churches. But I felt bad spending $70 on an actual one. Like, that just didn't sit right with me. So I took some yarn out of my bin and learned to crochet for this prop. And I might turn it to a purse because it's just sitting there and needs a use. So always try to find ways to reuse the things you make too, because you work too hard on it to wear it once.
Very true. All right. Dragon Sage?
Well, my piece of advice is that you don't always have to make your costumes. You can just G out and like find something in the closet, or like what I do is I go to Spirit Halloween every year and find something new. Like my entire Ravenclaw cosplay is basically Spirit Halloween sponsored. And I joke about that, but just as long as you're comfortable cosplaying the character, you'll be fine.
Agree with that, definitely.
Mhm.
Zen and Jesse?
Let's see. I would say if you're ever seeking to, like, if you're ever seeking to get to higher, well, not, what's a proper way to phrase this? Like, if you're seeking to improve yourself in terms of, like, doing more things with cosplay, I would say don't be afraid of getting things wrong. Like, never be ashamed of having, like, a misplaced piece of paint, like a torn piece of fabric, or like a ruined thing of cardboard or foam. Like, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has those days. There's always room to improve and learn from what hasn't worked out in the past. And like, there's always time to do more and grow from it.
Well said.
I would say, don't be afraid to try it. It's like, it could be as simple as closet clothes. It could be learning a new skill. But like, either way, you get to meet some really fantastic people. I've met some of the kindest people I know at cons.
Very true. All right. I have to say, this was a great day today. I mean, I got to meet some amazing people, talk, and have a whole great show with everyone. This was definitely a great one today. I appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you for having us.
Yeah.
Anytime. But of course, that's all we have for tonight. And a couple things as closing remarks here. I've mentioned before at Kogan Con, and I'll say it again. If you'd like an officiate for your wedding, I will definitely volunteer. My rates are extremely good, and I make deals for people I know and are friends with. On a second note, of course, for anyone out there watching, just have fun, enjoy, like, subscribe to the channel, of course. Tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell your dog. Go anywhere, have fun. And of course, dream, believe, and create. Till next time, everyone, have a great night.
Are you interested in cosplay, currently a cosplayer, or have an experience you wish to share? Want to be on the show? Simply text, email, or send a message on our Facebook page. I can't wait to hear from you.